Good evening from London. It's a bright, late August summer evening here in London. And hello from me, Dr. Dermot Hudson, the chairman of the British Group for the Study of the Juche Idea, chairman of the Korean Friendship Association of the UK, an official delegate of the KFA for the UK, and also president of the Association for the Study of Songun Politics, UK. Today, in People's Korea, is the day of Songun, which is celebrated not only in People's Korea but by Songun Idea followers throughout the world. And of course, the Songun Idea is the Army First idea. It was 61 years ago today, 25th of August, that the great leader, Comrade Kim Jong-il, gave guidance to the Seoul Ryukyong-su Guards number 105th Tank Division of the Korean People's Army. The 105th Tank Division of the KPA is army unit of the KPA, which is steeped in revolutionary history, as it was the first KPA unit to rush into Seoul during the Great Fatherland Liberation War of 1950 to 1953. So this is when Comrade Kim Jong-il, the great leader, started his Songun revolutionary leadership. August 25th is now proudly celebrated in the DPRK as the Day of Songun. Dear respected Marshal Kim Jong-un wrote, "The Day of Songun, when General Kim Jong-il started his leadership of the Songun Revolution, is, together with the day of founding of the KPA, Korean People's Army, a historic day when an important milestone was set up for the history of building our revolutionary armed forces and the history of our country. As there was this significant day, a historic turn could be brought about in developing our revolutionary armed forces and implementing the cause of the Juche Revolution and the history and traditions of our sacred Songun Revolution that had been pioneered and developed by force of arms, achieving victory, could be carried forward continuously." End of quotation. The Songun revolutionary leadership of the great generalissimo Kim Jong-il began at a time when the US imperialists were causing tension all over the world, such as the Vietnam War and the Cuban Missile Crisis, or the Caribbean Crisis. The modern revisionists of the USSR, the agents of the imperialists and the international communist movement and the socialist camp, had capitulated to imperialism and were even putting pressure on the independent People's Korea to give up its anti-imperialist stand and disarm itself, melting down tanks and guns under the banner of peaceful coexistence and peaceful cooperation with the imperialists. The great generalissimos Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il declared that the DPRK would not go down this road, but would build up the People's Revolutionary Armed Forces on the basis of self-reliance. Dear respected Marshal Kim Jong-un has explained that regarding the strengthening of the KPA as the most important of affairs in the Songun Revolution, he raised the KPA as the buttress, the main force of our revolution, and achieved a historic victory in the grim anti-imperialist, anti-US showdown in defence of the country's security and socialism by training the KPA to be the army of the leader, boundlessly faithful to the cause of the WPK, Workers' Party of Korea, to be an invincible revolutionary army." End of quotation. The Songun idea is profoundly anti-imperialist and anti-revisionist, as it is based on the reality that socialism is built in confrontation with imperialism and not in cooperation with imperialism. Songun rejected non-class theories of the army under socialism and the ideologisation of the armed forces. Under the leadership and guidance of Generalissimo Kim Jong-il and President Kim Il-sung, later respected Marshal Kim Jong-un, the Korean People's Army was built up as an army not only strong in weaponry and technique, but also ideology. In some socialist countries, revisionist and non-class theories undermined the armed forces, and they were unable to defend socialism. An example of this was seen in the USSR, which experienced a deep crisis due to perestroika and glasnost introduced by the counter-revolutionary traitor Gorbachev. When some patriotic members of the USSR leadership formed a state commission for the state of emergency, and declared a state of emergency in the USSR, and by the way, the 30th anniversary of that was last week, and again, didn't see hardly anything about it in the mainstream media, and in fact many communist parties were silent. But anyway, when they declared the state of emergency on August 19th, 1991, as I well remember that day, the armed forces of the USSR were unable to implement it, and the State Committee for the State of Emergency was dissolved after 3 days. And this is because the armed forces of the USSR had rotted away under modern revisionism. And they'd not, the USSR had not followed the line of building up the armed forces, of giving priority to the armed forces, and instead had followed a road of revisionism and peaceful coexistence and virtual pacifism. The great leader, Generalissimo Kim Jong-il, carried forward the cause of Juche army building and the Songun revolutionary leadership pioneered by the great leader, President Kim Il-sung. During the 5 decades of Songun revolutionary leadership, the heroic Korean People's Army was built up splendidly in all fields, not just in terms of weaponry and technique, but in terms of ideology and morale. The KPA became the pillar of the Songun revolution. Under the Songun revolutionary leadership, the KPA discharged its role as the defender of the gains of socialism with honour. In the confrontation between the DPRK and the imperialist forces after the Fatherland Liberation War, the independence and security of the DPRK was safeguarded and defence power increased. Thanks to the Songun revolutionary leadership, the DPRK became a strategic state, a nuclear power, and a country with intercontinental ballistic missiles. The respected Marshal Kim Jong-un has continued the Songun revolutionary leadership, declaring as follows: "The permanent strategy of our revolution and its final victory lie in going straight along the road of independence, the road of Songun, the road of socialism." End of quotation. He has given energetic guidance to defence upbuilding, and fresh achievements and victories have been scored. Thanks to Songun, peace on the Korean Peninsula has been secured. Led by dear respected Marshal Kim Jong-un, the Korean people will win final victory. Glory to the great Songun revolutionary leadership. Glory to the memory of the great leader, Generalissimo Kim Jong-il. And that's concludes my short video on the Songun revolutionary leadership. The 61st anniversary of which is being celebrated today in people's Korea and throughout the world. If you're not already a subscriber to our channel, Songun 007, please subscribe. We also have an affiliated channel, Korean Friendship Association UK, as well as please follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Last weekend we held a very successful KFA UK weekend of action, and we're going to be planning more events defending people's Korea, showing the reality of people's Korea to the world, and studying the Juche Idea and Songun Idea in the future. So, please look out for this event. Thank you all for listening. Have a great evening or a great day, and see you all again soon. Stay safe and goodbye.